Robert Downey Jr. is once again standing up for his most controversial role. Yes, they are trying to attack him for having the little square mustache underneath his nose in his portrayal of Chaplin. No. We're talking about Tropic Thunder once again. I'm going to level with you guys on this. I watched it. I was working at a movie store. I was a movie store manager at the time when it originally came out in 2008. And well, I didn't get Tropic Thunder. When I originally watched it, I didn't know it was a parody. I didn't know it was supposed to be lampooning the Hollywood industry at large. And, well, I didn't like it when I first watched it. And to be fair, I turned it off very quickly because, well, I was 18. I didn't get it. And, well, I've heard a lot of people talk about it in the convening years. And, well, I really got to go back to it. So I kind of have an incomplete assessment of the film. I like most of the people attached to it. I think Ben Stiller has definitely done well to raise his public perception in recent years. And Robert Downey Jr., outside of his very strange dietary decisions, I think is one of the quintessential examples of positive Hollywood stars in today's day and age. And, well, Jack Black is tolerable in small doses. Yeah, in some point in time, I'll have to eventually run it back and, get the full context of this. But for as ardent of a supporter of Robert Downey Jr. has been for his role and, just putting on Blackface and Tropic Thunder, this talks about something that I've been discussing and trying to champion for a very long time. All it takes is one person. Everybody wants to get behind that one person who is just going to stand up to all of the political correctness, all of the woke propaganda that is out there, and tell them no and mean it, and that will be the change, the beginning of a cultural revolution. Not the ones that, all of those, proponents of that type of cancel culture want to push, but one that will actually turn the tide and bring us back to some sort of normalcy. And RDJ is that type to do it. Now, if he could just get his head out of his ass when it comes to being a vegan and saying my masculinity needs to be reassessed, then we can probably get back to brass tacks. But let's see what he has to say in defense of Blackface once again. It's not even Blackface. He was playing a character, for Christ's sakes. It's not like he was putting it on doing Ted Danson style, okay? Robert Downey Jr. has long defended his role in Tropic Thunder, the 2008 comedy from director Ben Stiller and the cast. That cast the Ironman star as an egotistical Australian thespian who takes method acting to an extreme by undergoing pigmentation alteration surgery to darken his skin in order to play a black soldier in a war movie. And what was so great about that role, and another reason why I really got to go back and get full context on this, is that he also did the commentary, the director's commentary or the actor's commentary over the top for the DVD special features. He did it in complete character, in full character as well, right? I love that stuff. I love the dedication to a craft, even if it's not for a role that I particularly like or anything like that. It's just, really great to see this. Some have come down on Downey Jr., a bunch of freaks, in recent years for doing blackface in the film, but the actor has never agreed with the backlash. During an appearance on Rob Lowe's Literally podcast while on his Oppenheimer Awards campaign trail, which I haven't even seen Oppenheimer. I really hope that he wins an Oscar for it because, well, RDJ, he deserves it, okay? Because he's that guy. Drew a line between Tropic Thunder and Norman Lear's iconic sitcom All in the Family. Okay. He said both works shine a light on the tropes that are not right and had been perpetuated for too long and faced criticism for those who weren't seeing the bigger picture. Yeah, no, exactly. That entire film, like Tropic Thunder, is all about mocking the entitled Hollywood action star. How relevant that would be in 2024. For all of the people still trying to poke fun at him for that, huh? Can't see the irony in that, huh? Anyways, I was looking back at All in the Family, and they had this little disclaimer that they were running at the beginning of the show. Oh, man, are they putting trigger warnings on the great All in the Family? Ugh. Robert Downey Jr. said about the backlash Lear's sitcom has faced for tackling social topics like racism in a way that network television never had before. All in the Family tackled a lot of subject material, okay? Like, there was one very special episode that, touched on SA, legitimate, not the made up Me Too type stuff, but touched on that. Archie Bunker's specific take on what type of a country England is. If you know the joke, you know the joke, and if you don't, well, don't think about it too hard. Just think about his interpretation of Britain being a one of their cigarettes type country, right? Yeah. Also, not too dissimilar to that of Tropic Thunder, it was supposed to be. It was a misunderstood film. All in the Family was a misunderstood show because the way that the showrunners wanted to put it out is that Archie and Edith Bunker, they're not supposed to be the people that you relate with, okay? They were supposed to be the antagonist side of things, and meathead, old stupid Rob Reiner, who just runs his mouth at every given opportunity across social media. They were supposed to be the sympathetic ones, okay? They were supposed to be, Archie and Edith were supposed to be the out-of-touch, old curmudgeons that were on the show, but in actuality, ended up being the most popular sitcom characters quite possibly of all time. Kind of like how RDJ doing quote-unquote blackface was supposed to be holding up a mirror to the Hollywood elites about them taking themselves far too seriously. But anyways, let's continue. People should look it up, exactly what it is, because it's an antidote to this clickbait addiction to grievance that people seem to have with everything these days. True. Yeah, understanding a subject fully and then coming to your own conclusions on it. Interesting. The All in the Family disclaimer read, "This program that you are about to see is All in the Family. It seeks to throw a humorous spotlight on our frailties, prejudices, and concerns by making them a source of laughter. We hope to show in a mature fashion how absurd they are." Oh my god. What happened to the old demonstrate, don't explicate side of things, okay? Like if it was so egregious in modern day, if you were to go back and watch it, it would come across as egregious, but you need to go ahead and poison the well to begin with? Interesting. The language was saying, hey, this is the reason that we're doing these things that, in a vacuum, you could pick apart and say were wrong and bad, Downey Jr. continued. There used to be an understanding with an audience, and I'm not saying that the audience is no longer understanding. I'm saying things have gotten very muddied in the spirit that Ben Stiller directed and cast and shot Tropic Thunder was essentially as railing against all these tropes that are not right and that had been perpetuated for too long. During a 2020 episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, yes, exactly, where RDJ talked about his mother being horrified when she learned about his role in Tropic Thunder. His mother had told him, "Bobby, I'm telling you, I have a bad feeling about this." Downey Jr. said at the time that while he had also had a bad feeling about Tropic Thunder and the potential backlash it would generate, he still thought to himself, I'm going to hold up to nature this insane, self-involved hypocrisy of artists, and that they think they're allowed to do on occasion. Exactly. Ben Stiller knew exactly the vision for this was. He executed it, and it was impossible to not have it be an offensive nightmare of a movie. Well, yeah, of course, for as much shit as RDJ gets for having, oh my god, blackface character, people still laugh and joke about Simple Jack all the time. And, what's one of the most famous, what's one of the most iconic memes coming out of the film? You never go full retard. Nobody wants to take offense to that. Oh yeah, they just simply want to play the virtue signaling card. You used blackface, and that was so offensive. Okay, cool. Go ahead and cite what's actually offensive about his portrayal in that film. 90% of my blackface, 90% of my black friends were like, dude, that was great. I can't disagree with the other 10%, but I know where my heart lies. I think that it's never an excuse to do something that's out of place and out of this time, but to me, it blasted the cap on the issue. I think having a moral psychology is job one. Sometimes you just gotta go, yeah, I effed up. In my defense, Tropic Thunder is about how wrong blackface is, so I take exception. Downey Jr. earned the Best Supporting Actor nomination for his performance in Tropic Thunder. Oh yeah, don't really want to talk about that now, do ya? In a category that he's now back in the running with thanks to Oppenheimer. Recently picked up the Best Supporting Actor prize at the Golden Globes and his nomination for the Critics' Choice Award, and I don't know how that ended up playing out. That just happened recently. I think he won. Oppenheimer ended up winning a bunch of awards anyways, and the Screen Actors Guild Awards, which I'm sure are going to happen very, very shortly as well. But once again, RDJ is not wrong, and he's once again shining a light on how important that role all the way back some 14 years ago. 14 years ago, Tropic Thunder came out, and you know what? it's such a perfect, and like I said, I gotta run it back. I gotta go check that out in full. Make sure that I'm getting my proper references that are down there. But unlike, okay, like it was holding up a bunch of the different problems, holding up a mirror to a bunch of the different problems that Hollywood at the time and that are still going on right now. But in true fashion, like it's been talked about a lot, but there was never a sequel to Tropic Thunder. I don't necessarily know how you would. I know more about the film now, even more than I just watched. Thanks to everybody singing its praises. But you just don't get films like that anymore. It's not to say that they can't be made and that they shouldn't be made. It's just nobody, at least at a large enough scale, are making them these days. But when you have people making those choices, like they are today, like Robert Downey Jr. is doing, we're moving incrementally closer to a return to normalcy, to people just going, yeah, you know what? I do want to make that. And studios going, yeah, you know what? You can go out there and make that. It doesn't have to be $100 million budget. It doesn't even have to be $50 million. You just throw some money at it, see what works, see what sticks. And if you can really tap into that disaffected portion high of the audience that's out there, you might end up creating a new trend in Hollywood. The authentic, genuine, no fucks given movie. I hope we get back to that sooner rather than later. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.